Well, hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm not feeling sick, so I think that's a pretty positive, situation to be in right now.
Yeah. So this is Doug Keller, former co-host of the World's Finest Show. Up until recently, you were the longest co-host, but I think Ray and Carly have surpassed you. But yeah, man, we missed you, and now that we're doing this new format, I figured I'd get you back in the mix. But
Well, I
I know your
appreciate
schedule
that.
doesn't. Oh no, dude, we're happy to have you. But I know your schedule doesn't line up like the rest of us, so I figured we'd have you on as the first guest of our new rebooted show. So welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and that's quite the honor. Really appreciate it. This is not my first time as a guest. I think back the first time Tyler was also the co-host.
Yeah, that was the first time I met you. And then you asked if you could make the theme song, which is the theme song that we still use today.
I do recall that.
And you still play the music, right?
Yes, there are 3-ish projects that I'm involved in right now.
Okay. What are the names?
So the one that I'm probably playing the most gigs with at this point is, not at this point. I think that kind of probably dates when this episode airs, but I hope it does. I hope it's not just an ongoing no music thing. But the project that I'm the most involved with at this point is probably the Tisburys, which, great group. And it's interesting because the way that I got in contact with the singer for that band was actually for a story that we were trying to follow for the World's Finest.
Oh, cool. What one was that?
We were researching a certain bill in Westchester that was going to outlaw busking.
Oh yeah, the busking bill. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and so I reached out to, at the time, the president or whoever was in charge of Westchester's radio station, The Curve. And I also noticed that he was an intern at XPN, which around that, I was an intern there about a year previously, so I was like, oh, this person would be a great perspective on what busking in Westchester means and what music means and all that. And I don't think we went forward with the story, but I did.
No, we did. We did do the story.
Oh, that's right.
We did do the story. We did a whole bunch of interviews.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But anyway, so I met Tyler AC and started to jam with the Tisburys maybe about 2 years ago, 2.5, give or take. And it's been a lot of fun. But
so what I'm going to ask you is now that you're working a little bit, you still have to go in a little bit, right? But you're mostly working from home. Like you said, there's no music, there's no live music, so I'm sure you're practicing to keep your chops up. But what else are you doing to stay sane?
Well, yeah, you practice, watching some television, some movies.
What are you watching?
Well, recently, and I think this kind of ties into the theme of World's Finest, I know that Lock and Key aired on Netflix, or it came out, still airing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I do believe that's out for Netflix now, and that's based on a comic book originally.
Right. Now, do you know who the author of Lock and Key is?
No.
Okay, so I read Lock and Key maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, give or take. I hope the timeline adds up. And I thought it was great. And the author is he goes by Joe Hill, but his dad is Stephen King. And so once you know that, and you
little upstart writer, that little guy, the little scrappy upstart, Stephen King.
Yeah, and Lock and Key's great, but you're like, some of these tropes about spooky things happening, ghosts, everyone's kind of psychic for some reason, it starts to add up that maybe you're kind of basing things off what your dad did.
Well, have you read J.J. Abrams' son's Spider-Man?
No.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams' son, and he actually co-wrote it with his dad. It's got like 3 issues out, 3 out of 6 that I don't think it's going to get finished anytime soon now with the whole comic book collapse. But yeah, no, well, not collapse, but you know that they're not distributing comic books for the foreseeable future?
That is news to me.
Yeah, man, it came out like Diamond Distributors, who distributes like all the major comic books. They said that for the foreseeable future, they had to shut down their warehouses. That for the foreseeable future, they will not be shipping new comic books.
Well, that feels like the end, because it's going to be pretty tough to start back up. And I hate to be pessimistic about it, but the comic book industry, I mean, where is it, or where was it a month ago?
I was talking with Carly and Ray just a little while ago about how the DC was already saying like it's make or break time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys got to and like when they fired Dan Didio and all that stuff. And so I don't know, man. You know that the comic book writers, if you look on Twitter, they're all being like, we should do a Marvel DC crossover.
Well, that was the rumor. Well, I mean, so what book was it that they definitely referred to the DC Marvel crossover? That was going to come where. Oh, yeah, Doomsday Clock.
They mentioned. Well, so here's the thing, though. So they mentioned Thor in Doomsday Clock. Now, here's the thing. Thor is a public domain character. Now,
right.
It was obviously a wink and a nod at Marvel, but Thor is a public domain character. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it can only be that. But then I think in Thor, they referenced Superman in one of the recent Thor issues. So, I mean, it's definitely, there's been some definitely like winks and nods towards that happening.
Well, and it'll be great because the last time they did this crossover, the Access was the character that was joint owned by both DC and Marvel, right? And they created him so he'd be the bridge between worlds. And at that point, Thor had the most regrettable costume of his career. So maybe now will be a time. It was really interesting because this was also the time when Spider-Man was Ben Reilly, or he was, the blue. I'm trying to think of the super early 90s.
I don't think it was Ben Reilly.
Well, it was
right around that time period. It's definitely Clone Saga, but I don't think it was Ben Reilly because I would have remembered that. I have those books. I would have remembered that.
But, at the end of Clone Saga, right, Spider-Man's like, okay, well, I guess here's this new costume that I'm giving you, that you're the Spider-Man, and that's the one that they're wearing in the Axis crossover.
Really? With the gauntlets?
I would...
Because the gauntlets are the giveaway. If he's wearing the gauntlets, then it's Ben Reilly. If there's no gauntlets, then it's Peter Parker.
If only this wasn't an audio medium and we had some way to find out. But I guess we'll never know. But no, I know that they were referencing that, and was Marvel going to buy DC? That was just like kicked around a bit.
So here's the scuttlebutt is that DC might close down its publishing arm and then license the characters to Marvel.
Yeah. Which, I mean, okay, because the Squadron Supreme, I guess, is all right, but if you could actually have DC characters, the Justice League.
You come on, dude. They want to sell books. You don't think Spider-Man, Batman, legit in continuity won't sell a whole bunch of comic books?
Yeah, but do you think that forever they will be looked upon as less than Marvel heroes and be like, oh, here's that dude again, and whatever, what a weirdo. Moon Knight, he's awesome, though.
I guarantee you that the staples, right? Your Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. They get there no matter what.
What about Booster, Kyle? What about Booster?
Yeah, man, your boy Booster Gold. He's gonna definitely regulate to like Earth 719.
Okay, but I mean, as long as there's a future for Booster Gold and maybe Blue Beetle,
they'll still own them. I'm not saying they'll get rid of them. But I'm just saying that if Warner Brothers decides, because they own DC, if Warner Brothers decides they don't want to make the comic books anymore, then they're not going to make the comic books anymore. And Marvel, they have IDW or whatever print some of their like children's books, so it's not unheard of. I know
True.
Archie did a couple publications using Spider-Man and Avengers and stuff.
Yeah, but Archie will do whatever. There was a Predator crossover, right? And a Punisher, if I recall.
Dude, we should do a video on Archie vs. Predator. Like, that deserves to be something that is... How did that happen? We got to look into that.
Yeah, I would be interested. And Do you think Archie will ever have another single after Sugar Sugar? Like the Archies, I guess.
Oh, dude, they have the new show. I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to get a new single out there.
I hope so.
Because, Riverdale's pretty popular. I mean, they have two spin-offs already.
Well, that's the thing.
I think technically Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, is technically a spin-off. And then they have a new one, Katie Keene, is a spin-off.
I have no idea. I have never watched an episode of Riverdale, and my
you're not
girlfriend.
Down with Archieverse, Doug? You're not down with Archieverse?
Well, my girlfriend was watching. What was it? Sabrina, and I was like, "Oh, did you know that this is a comic book?" Blah 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 blah, as I've been known to do. And then I think later seasons they do cross over with Riverdale and stuff, so it makes sense in the continuity.
Well, they say that's why we didn't get any more Afterlife with Archie, because the guy who wrote Afterlife with Archie went on to write Riverdale.
Oh.
And he just likes being a television writer a lot more than being a comic book writer, because I bet it pays well. I bet it plays better than being a comic book writer for Archie Comics.
And, I mean, how many people now know the Riverdale name? Like, a lot of people that didn't know Archie, 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, man! When you have Cheryl Blossom doing what is it, Maybelline? One of the makeup companies promotes. They have a hard sponsorship deal with Riverdale. I think CoverGirl, one of them. When we watch, because my wife watches Riverdale, and when it's on, when we're watching the CW app, it's just all these ads for this one makeup company. I forget which one. We don't have any endorsements here at the World's Finest Show. At least not yet. If you're interested,
exactly.
Send us an email.
Any advertisers. Just,
Yeah. So, how about video games? You playing anything fun?
So, my girlfriend just got a Switch, which is pretty exciting.
Woo!
Yeah. And she has been playing Breath of the Wild, which I've only been watching that one, and it looks cool. I can see why so many people got into the latest Zelda game. But I feel it's so trite to be I'm playing Minecraft and I'm playing Fortnite. I'm kind of ashamed of saying I'm playing Fortnite, but life's a highway.
You just got a brand new video game system, $250 video game system. It's playing Minecraft, Fortnite. So.
Okay. But
I dig. We've played a lot of Minecraft together. I dig Minecraft. But
yeah,
Fortnite, Fortnite to me is the video game definition of insanity. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
But I've won some games. Sometimes you win.
You've won? You've won? Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Carly. Apparently Carly's really good.
Well, if she wants my gamer tag, I don't want to say it on air because I think too many people would be friending me, but I'll pass it along to you.
Oh, dude, I forgot to mention this in the show proper. I started out the Westchester Video Game Lobby. It's a group on Facebook, so if you want to find it on Facebook, it's public. You can join it, and you can meet other local people and play video games with each other.
That sounds great, especially in a time like now where, maybe you can't be physically around someone, but virtually, there's an option.
Yeah, that's the idea. So, go check it out, the Westchester Video Game Lobby, and put your video games that you play and your gamer tag up there, and if you see someone else that did that and they play the same games you play, shoot them a message and, go monster hunting or whatever you do. Because, I do think this is a great time for us to use video games to bring ourselves together.
Absolutely.
And I will even play some Fortnite with you, Doug.
Really?
No, yeah, just because it's you, buddy.
Oh, so thoughtful. I appreciate that.
What was that?
No, I'm just saying that you should probably just get used to muting children if you're going to play Fortnite again. It hurts less if you don't hear that they're children that are just destroying you. Yeah, kids these days. You just have to accept they're going to beat you.
I know. Well, I was talking to my nephew. I'm like, well, if you had a job, you know what I mean? Then maybe you wouldn't have the time.
Yeah. No, it should. Do you think you should put age groups of who you want to play with for a game, or
Ooh, that's a good
open-ended?
idea. No, that's a good idea. Like age brackets, you could do like the age rankings, and then when you hear some kid be like, "I'm an adult man. I
Yeah,
want your
I'm
business."
12.
So, is there anything else that you're looking forward to? While you're in, lockdown, what like shows you're gonna watch, movies you're gonna watch, books you're gonna read?
Avenue 5 was funnier than I thought it was going to be. That was pretty swell. But as far as like looking forward to, it's tough. But the thing is, I think my favorite show of 2019 was Watchmen for sure. And my expectations were not through the roof. I was just going to be like, oh, this is coming out. Now just check it out instead of getting my hopes up, which I think after the ending of Game of Thrones, maybe other people are feeling the same way where you don't want to get burned again.
Well, I never saw the end of. Well, I didn't see the beginning of Game of Thrones. I watched like the first episode, and it never really tickled me.
Yeah, well, good for you, because now people who spent years watching it are thinking, maybe, was it worth it? But well, the problem is, Wolverine is super cool when you know less about him, but the more that you learn, the less interesting it is, because otherwise you're just speculating on, well, where did he get those claws? What could it be? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, he had bone claws that he forgot about for a long time, but then he remembered after Magneto pulled out his adamantium skeleton.
So I'm really excited to get you back in the mix. Hopefully this new format will allow us to do some neat little new things, maybe like short little produced pieces, stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully we'll get you into the mix and have some more Dougie Keller content coming your way soon.
Perfect. It'd be fun.
Cool, buddy. Well, look, it's really great talking to you again, man. Stay safe. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one, Kyle.
All right, man. You too. Peace.